academy in in Bhubaneswar, and she is the coordinator of color Doppler workshop in the 61st AICOG, which was held at Bhubaneswar. And yeah, I think so. Everybody knows Preeti Dubey so well, and she really doesn't need much. But this was my duty to introduce her and say something about her. So Preeti, you go ahead because already we are delayed. So, and it's because we will have a lot of questions from our participants today. Please go ahead.
Something to add, if any of you face any difficulty anywhere in detecting any problems with your obstetric ultrasound or second expert opinion, you write her name in the chat, number in the chat box. Anywhere in the state, you please contact her through your phone, and if you feel, you can send your patient if it is if it's deserving and the patient actually is desperate to have a good obstetric outcome for the fetus in some cases, particularly infertility cases or bad obstetric history cases. Then if you have any doubts in any of the trimesters, please take the second opinion from her. She is the one who is really the most experienced, who has worked with the world-class sonologist Professor Suresh, and this in fact, anyway, I have a problem, I always ring up to her, particularly if you have Rh negative patients. Be extremely careful to do the indirect wombs, and then if positive, you must for the fetal survival, you have to send it to Preeti madam, because she's the one who does intrauterine transfusion of the fetus in Rh negative babies. So this you must remember. And today Rh negative isoimmunization, what it does to the Doppler, middle cerebral artery Doppler, she will be discussing. So Preeti madam, this was what.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much, ma'am.
We started. You are our savior, so to say, in these situations. And so we can start. Shall we start?
Yes, madam.
The polls, Sambit? Okay, the polls have been ended. Okay, so now Preeti, you may start.
Yes. So then we'll move. I am not going to have this theory class. ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆଜି theory କହିବିନି, because you all know what is Doppler and you have attended so many conferences about Doppler. So I don't, because when I talked with few doctors, at least 4-5 doctors, they called me and told, madam, amaku asubidha hochi Doppler karibare. So their doubt is not theoretical, their doubt is practical. They are not able to put the knobs, everything. So ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିକି whatever problem you are facing, please discuss, because until and unless you discuss with us, we will not able to understand where you are stuck in. तो ଆପଣ ଯଦି କହିବେ କି ଏଇଟା କ'ଣ ଅଛି, କେମିତି ଅଛି, କାହିଁ କରାଯାଉଛି, ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କେତେ ଗୁରା example ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଆଜି explain କରିବି ହେଲା. So it was Christian Doppler who was an Austrian mathematician who first discovered Doppler effect. So a big salute to him. ଆମେ ଏତେ theory ଆଜି ପଢିବାନି, just I will tell you what are the things we see and how we will proceed. ହେଲା, fetal circulation ସମସ୍ତେ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି, from the placenta the blood is coming through the umbilical vein, bypassing the liver to the directly to the right atrium. From right atrium it goes, 70% of the blood goes to left atrium, 30% blood goes to, these are all theoretical, I am not interested. What are the vessels we see practically? हमें practically कौन देखिବାକୁ चाहूଛୁ. When a patient comes, practically हमें Doppler केबे use करूଛୁ. So first time when your patient comes in the first trimester, तामाने जबे 11 ରୁ 13 weeks 6 days भितरे आसुची, आमे amaro color Doppler ro switch. What are the color Doppler switch? Amaro, when you go to a ultrasound machine, अल्ट्रासाउंड मशीन रे गोटे आपन को चारिटा नॉब मिलिबो चारिटा नॉब रे वन इज एम डॉपलर जोटा कि एम मोड पई हमें यूज करूछु सेटा हमें केबे यूज करूछु ना जेबे कार्डियक कंट्रैक्टिलिटी whenever there is function ta jebe affected hochi then we are using M mode cardiac preset okay that is like a line तो आपण अल्ट्रासाउंड मशीन पाखे जदि बसी चंती तले देखंतु we have हमर अल्ट्रासाउंड सबु अल्ट्रासाउंड मशीन रे पांचटा नॉब अछि इटा पांचटा नॉब अछि I hope you can see the knobs I am showing. Can you see the knobs? So this is PW mode. If you switch on, the power mode will be on. ହେଲା एटा को नेक्स्ट अछि M लेखा हेछि जोटा कि M मोड अछि जोटा कि हमें कार्डियक फंक्शंस पई करूछु आपण मन को देखा जाउची
Yes, yes,
सो मु ऑन करिली ऑन कला रे एटा PW मोड आसीबो एटा M मोड अछि आउ एटा PD is for power doppler C is for color doppler 2D is for 2D normal jota ame karuchu so these are the 5 things which are being used by the machine ame jebe doppler karuchu ei panchta jinso use karuchu kemti na ame jebe karuchu we are doing in 2D jebe amaku color darkar paduchi then we put only C when it is written C सेटा खाली color doppler use होची so what will come the vein which is coming towards the source will come red which is going away from the source it will come as blue hela so these 5 buttons you have to remember first is 2D flow second is color flow third is power doppler flow ta kon na color flow जेमतिया power doppler flow भी सेमतिया काई हमें ताको power doppler कहूछु because it is very strong it can even pick a small vessel which cannot be picked up by color doppler तो हमें color doppler use करूछु normally केबे power doppler use करिबा हमें सपोज किडनी देखुछु हमको किडनी रे गोटी ही आर्टरी देखा जाउची so that time you add power doppler add kole what is the added advantage if there is any extra small vessel that also you will get so that if there is a pelvic kidney or any other kidney you will able to trace through that vessel where is it is locating so power doppler ta ame jebe ame ko konosi vessel miluni suppose there is a congenital diaphragmatic hernia re kon way na there is a defect in the diaphragm so intestine and stomach and part of the liver they pushes themselves to the left thorax se jodi left thorax re chali janti so what happens to superior mesenteric artery also will go into the thorax so there is upturning of superior mesenteric artery to say upturning of superior mesenteric artery if we are not getting through normal color doppler we are getting through power doppler so this is now it is very clear I have switched on so this is 2D can you see this is color doppler this is power doppler this is M mode if I switch on the M mode a straight line will come like this so what information it will give the information about the cardiac function whether there is cardiomyopathy whether there is AV dissociation or not so usually this is for very last stage of doppler we learn and next is the power doppler PW jota lekha aichi seta hochi power doppler So whenever you will switch on this power Doppler, you will get one line with गोटे गैप सांगे आपण ताकू देखिबे एई थररु ही we have to trace all the vessel by putting this gap, this is known as sampling gate. এই जो गैप ता आपण देखि
Equal to sign
पारुछंती जोटा कि हमें PW प्रेस कला परे आसीची, that is known as sampling gate. sampling gate ता केते रखिले हमें correctly करि परिबा. Usually for all vessels we used to keep at 1. देखंतु when you close this you will able to know what is the sampling gate. मु एमती प्रेस करिले एटा 2 mm देखौची आपण देखि पारचंती. Can you, is it seen in the screen? It's showing 2 mm. So we can increase or decrease the sampling gate, and 1 mm is actually the normal sampling gate. Always we need to keep 1 mm. केबे हमें अधिक रखिबा whenever we are doing some cardiac valve. Suppose we are suspecting some regurgitation, at that time the cardiac valves are moving up and down, so we have to keep a wide sample gate. That time we will increase that sample gate to 2 to 3 mm. केबे हमें small रखिबा when we are doing DV ro flow करिला बेले, because we know DV is a small conduit of vessel which connect the IVC with the right ventricle. So in those cases we have to keep that sample gate very small, that is 0.5 to 0.7 millimeter. The next thing is sweep gate. When we are doing when we are tracing one umbilical vessel or any vessel, if we are tracing, we have to increase the sweep speed. So this is a normal, this is a uterine artery. So every artery has a signature Doppler. Every Doppler is different. So this is, what is this? This we have made so that we have increased the sweep speed to 5. Why we have increased the sweep speed to 5? Because only few waves you can see in one plane, and you can trace those images very carefully. Sweep speed, if we will reduce, we can get many frames like this. Waves paiba. But we don't want many waves. We want our sweep speed to increase. Upon sweep speed upon korobi gote speed thibo dekhuntu. 80 lekhaichi speed. If I increase this to 5, eta dekhuntu, it covers the full of the screen. Only one wave. So upon jebe bhi Doppler nebe, don't make a clumsy waves, because if you keep 2, 3, 5, 10 waves, the computer will not able to trace the reading properly. So for that apan ku sweep speed ta increase kariki 5 aniyak padibo, so that maximally 4 to 5 waves can be seen in a single screen. बुझी पारले? That is the use of sweep speed. ठीक है? Then regarding color, if you are not getting adequate color, you can rotate the color to increase the color gain. अपन color gain body परिबे, कमी परिबे, and this is all about basics of Doppler. You play with your buttons and you will know. The most important another thing is PRF. अपन जेबे भी डॉपलर करूथिबे आपण देखुथे कि वेव गुरा ऊपर तळे एठी हेवा हे आसुची that you are unable to control. What you will do? You just increase the PRF. PRF को increase करिकी अपन 6, 10, 12, 18 एमती increase करिले the wavelength will be short. So you will get a small beautiful waves. So these are the basic things. I think almost everyone confused between what the Doppler is doing. आमे डॉपलर देखिया पाई कौन कौन यूज करू हैला फर्स्ट इज मैटरनल आर्टरी मैटरनल रे आमे फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर रे बायलैटरल यूट्राइन आर्टरी देखू एंड इन सेकंड ट्राइमेस्टर आल्सो वी सी फॉर बायलैटरल यूट्राइन आर्टरीज why we give so much importance to bilateral uterine arteries because there was an index journal where they have taken nearly 85,000 pregnant women and they did one study and found that if we use prophylactic aspirin 150 milligram one at bedtime we can reduce almost 80 to 90% of the preterm preeclampsia. So that is the significance of the first trimester because when you find there is high resistance flow in the uterine artery, we can substitute the patient one tablet of aspirin every day till 34 weeks of pregnancy. One tablet at bedtime. What is the significance of it in the second trimester? I mean second trimester रे कौन पाई करूचु? Usually second trimester रे कौन हुए ना by 24 weeks the tertiary villi everything has been completely formed. So after that resistance usually reduces. So to check that if first trimester रे थिला second trimester रे अच्छी ना नहीं to check that or to follow up that we do in the second trimester also but rarely we do in the third trimester because in first trimester and second trimester even if ketele patient ro first trimester it comes as normal but in second trimester due to incomplete invasion there is resistance in the second trimester so at that time also you start aspirin for them. If not started in the first trimester, you can start in the second trimester itself. There are significance at least you can save so many mothers from preterm preeclampsia. So that is the only significance why we do uterine artery in first trimester. Beyond that, we see the parallel inflows and outflows in the first trimester. Color flow we see parallel inflow and outflow. We see for tricuspid regurgitation by putting our cursor over the tricuspid valve between right atrium to right ventricle. Ame seiti wide koriki sample gate 3 mm koriki. If we put the thing between right atrium and the right ventricle, we tend to get if there is a tricuspid regurgitation or not. The tricuspid regurgitation is a marker for aneuploidy and future cardiac pathology. So, seita ame first trimester re dekhuchu. No TR and another thing is ductus venosus flow. Whether ductus venosus flow is normal or if there is any reversal because seeing this ductus venous flow reversal could be a normal variant but could be associated with aneuploidy as well as with the cardiomyopathies. So these are the things we see in the first trimester. In second trimester, we don't do much of the Doppler except for maternal uterine Doppler. In third trimester, that is from 28 to 40 weeks, what are the things we used to see? Ideally, for artery, we see umbilical artery and middle cerebral artery. Our vein कहवा गले आमे सिर्फ ductus venosus ही देखुचु. एतिकी तीनिटा जिंस माने 28 weeks परे आमको देखिवाकू बाध्य even though baby is normal, even though baby is AGA, even though baby is SGA, LGA, whatever it is. Kahikina, there is a definition of late onset FGR, where the baby is AGA babies, but we are getting sudden intrauterine fetal deaths. So that is more significant because we are losing more babies due to late onset FGR than early onset FGR. So that is important. So these three vessels out two uterines. Total आमको पांचटा जिनस भलरू जानिबार अछि because they will give you the maximum conclusion कि आपन को next step रे कौन टा करिबार अछि. If you know all these 5 vessels, you will master in fetal Doppler. अब आपन को किछि भी दरकार नहीं. So first thing, आमे जो waveform ता हमारा form होची. When we are putting the maximum is systolic, the minimum is diastolic. So which ratio we need to take? आमे को ratio टा नेबा? गोटे अछि SD ratio, गोटे होची resistance index, आ गोटे होची pulsatility index. तो आमे कौन नोचू? We always use pulsatility index. What is pulsatility index and what is resistance index? जदि आमे systolic by diastolic ratio नेबा ताले diastole जदि 0, when there is absent diastolic flow in umbilical artery, so systolic by 0, something by 0, the value comes to be infinite. So we don't take SD ratio. What about resistance index? When the diastole is 0, then the resistance index becomes systolic divided by systolic, and the resistance index is 1, and that is also inconclusive. Either it is infinity or it is 0. They are not giving any conclusion to us. So what is more conclusive is pulsatility index. आमे सबु जिनिसो पाई pulsatility index, that is PI ही use करूचु. Upon B, whenever you are doing Doppler, whenever you are writing the report, you don't give anything to the patient, but just give pulsatility index PI ta diyantu, so that next doctor will follow you up that what you have done. When pulsatility index etiki thila ebe etiki ochi, so he can make a conclusion. Don't give any systolic value, diastolic value, we don't need. Only for MCA, if it is RH negative pregnancy, we need those systolic value. But rest of the thing, the valueless thing is pulsatility index. Upon pulsatility index ta kahin ki niya jaye? Because it is systolic minus diastolic by mean of the two. So that is very important. When we take the mean of the different wavefront, we are getting the pulsatility index. What is uteroplacental circulation? जोटा कि माने mother रू आसे placental villi through the so these are the arteries: spiral artery, basal artery, radial artery, and the arcuate arteries. So these things are all theoretical values. कोठी आपण नेबे first होची uterine arteries, maternal uterine artery. कोठू नेबे uterine artery is a branch of internal iliac artery. तमे iliac artery ऊपरे there will be iliac vessels. Both arteries and veins will be crossing near the medial side. So what you will do is go near the cervix, move leftwards, you will find the iliac vessels, both iliac vein and artery. From there, you will see one vessel crossing over the external iliac vessel. So this vessel is the uterine artery, that is the maternal left uterine artery. Similarly, put your sample gate over the maternal uterine artery and draw the signature trace. So as soon as you see the signature, you will know that you have got the uterine arteries. So what is normal? What is the significance of this systolic notch and all. Previously they were significant, now it is not significant. Only thing which is significant is PI. So apan ku mone rakhyar achi that any PI which is more than 2.0 is abnormal in first trimester. If it is more than 1.2 to 1.4, it is abnormal for second trimester. ଆମେ ଏମିତି ଦେଖୁଛୁ, this is 8 week uterine artery, 15 weeks and 22 weeks. 22 weeks se diastolic flow is high, so PI is low, and this low PI shows there is good flow in the uterus and there is no chance of IUD or any compromise in the baby. That is preterm preeclampsia. So this is a small video. So first put the color, go to the side, put the color. This is the sample gauge. Keep over the vessel and you will get the signature thing. So how many waves we are seeing in one field? We are seeing 4 to 5. So you have to keep your sweep speed like that only 4 to 5 vessels can be seen, not beyond that. First try to identify the artery, put the thing, and then you can get 4-5 waves, trace them. At a left uterine artery is 1.59 and the patient is 12 weeks 5 days. So it is absolutely normal. In first trimester, any PI value less than 2.2, even though it is gestational age dependent, but overall if it is less than 2.2, it is normal. So 80 theta 1.5 asuchi, 1.59. How does it help in preeclampsia screening? So this is an aspirate trial. Aspirate trial ta aspirin. Use of aspirin for preeclampsia. In this they have taken 26,941 patients for screening for preeclampsia. And they could found that there is 80% drop in pregnant women who are gestational age of less than 34 weeks. So it works fantastically for preterm preeclampsia. Whereas for term eclampsia, that is more than 37 weeks, there is hardly 6% drop. So what has worried all of us is preterm eclampsia and not term eclampsia. If the baby is term, we are going to deliver the baby. But if it is our dilemma is when there is preterm eclampsia, जब baby छोटो होता less than 34 weeks, say if you give prophylactic aspirin, it will reduce by 80% drop in preterm preeclampsia. Such a beautiful literature which has changed the brain set of all the gynecologists across the globe. A gotiye hi screening dwara ame samaste now we can predict preterm preeclampsia. Now we can treat and we can save 80% of the women with preterm preeclampsia. So kebe start karibe usually during the first trimester. First trimester is 11 weeks to 13 weeks 6 days. Whenever that patient will come, you screen, and if the patient is screen positive, start her on tablet aspirin 150 milligram, 1 tablet at bedtime. That is important why to give on the bedtime, and it will prevent 80% cases of the preterm preeclampsia. So enhanced first trimester screening, which include first trimester screening along with preterm preeclampsia screening, is the new key to add on. So you also add to your lab. Now comes the umbilical artery. So what is umbilical artery flow? Apan mane to every day apan mane karuthibe, because lot of patients are coming for umbilical artery and fetal Doppler in the second or third trimester. Kothi neba uchit, where we should take, amaku usually free loop re nebaku padiyo. Wherever there is floating umbilical cord, jotiki free loop thibo, apon seithi nebe. Hela, ଆଉ କେମିତି interpret କରିବେ ସେଟା ବହୁତ easy. Then again we have to ମାନେ same sweep speed ଦେଇକି you keep 5 that waveforms in one frame, in one entire picture, and then you trace it out and you will get a pi value which is systolic minus diastolic by mean, and from that you calculate that whether it is high resistance, low resistance or intermediate resistance. So what is abnormal waveforms? When there is absent diastolic flow. Upon this is a systole which has gone high, but see the next wave, there is no wave at all. That is known as absent diastolic flow. And similarly, if there is a reversal after absent diastolic flow, that is known as reverse end diastolic flow. These are the indications of fetal hypoxia. So ଏଇଟା ଗୋଟେ video ଅଛି ଯୋଉଥିରେ କି ମୁଁ ଦେଖଉଛି how we can take umbilical Doppler. ହେଲା? So this is a free loop of cord. Can you see these are the free loop of cord? What we do, we put a color box to make it colorful. So first after putting the color box, we put that PW Doppler. In PW Doppler, we will keep the sample gate over the desired umbilical artery. Whenever we are keeping the sample gate over the desired umbilical artery, and we get a trace like this. This is a signature of umbilical artery. केतेटा रखिवा ना हमें 4टा 5टा ही रखिवा. In one film, only 4 to 5 waveforms should be there. If it is there, if आपनकर जदि बहुत आसुची 10-12टा आसुची, then increase the sweep speed. Sweep speed टा increase कले आपनकर waveform टा 4टा 5टा रहिले, then only you can able to take trace. ताहले trace नेले, that will give you the accurate value. जदि आपनकर wave टा तळ आड़ को आसुची, ताहले आपन just आपनको screen रे invert बोली गोटे देखइबो. आपन जदि ताकू invert को touch screen रे touch करिले, the wave will get inverted. So these are the practical thing. Hela? Now we can put auto trace and that value will come. Next comes to middle cerebral artery. Middle cerebral artery it's very difficult and very important because of late onset FGR. आगे जे आमे सिर्फ अर्ली आमे खाली FGR को माने IUGR बोली धरुथिलु और सेटा आमे अर्ली IUGR late IUGR कहथिलु, but late onset FGR and the new early onset FGR, these are new terminology and they have a very good significance in the middle cerebral artery. How to choose for middle cerebral artery? आमको कौन मने रखियार अछि that whenever we are putting PW, that line should come in association with the vessel. एटा middle cerebral artery जदि जाउची ता ऊपरे ही से PW टा रहिबार अछि, so that it will make zero angle with that artery. जदि सेटा zero angle हेला ताहाले ही आपनकर किछि erroneous value आसीबो नाही, or maximally you can keep between 0 to 30 degree. So MCA has a conducive course and highly reproducible, easy to identify and can be studied easily with an angle of 0 degree between the ultrasound beam and the direction of blood flow, providing information on the true velocity of the blood flow. So, this is usually the sphenoid bone. Upon TK, whenever you are doing the brain, just come beyond cerebellum. Cerebellum toloku aslalku, you will find a butterfly shaped sphenoid wing. And when you are getting that point, please put the color on. Jadi color on koribe, you will find two middle cerebral artery on either side. A middle cerebral artery ray, then you put the power Doppler PW yeta. Okay, you keep the sample gate at 1 mm and take the tracing. If you take the tracing, this is the thing this is one small video. Can you see? We go till cerebellum, then beyond down you could find a butterfly shaped structure, and we can trace out this is the middle cerebral artery. What we expect in middle cerebral artery is we expect less flow, less blood flow during the diastole. Jadi diastole re adhika blood jauchi, that means this is not doing good. Just exactly the opposite of umbilical artery. Umbilical artery re we expect plenty of blood to pass through during diastole, but opposite we want it in the middle cerebral artery. We want less blood to go in middle cerebral artery. Okay, so MCA is very sensitive to hypoxia than umbilical artery, and MCA responses to fetal hypoxia is instantly. Ebe amako pakhre we have umbilical artery PI, we have MCA PI. Ebe what is our conclusion? Ame kon kadiba? We will calculate CPR, that is cerebroplacental ratio. What is this cerebroplacental ratio? The cerebroplacental ratio is cerebro means brain, that is middle cerebral artery PI divided by cerebroplacental. Placental is umbilical. So MCA PI divided by umbilical PI. MCA PI, that is cerebro, umbilical PI is placental, cerebroplacental ratio. So we will calculate this ratio by putting the MCA PI on the top divided by umbilical PI, and we have to assume one value, and that value is gestational age dependent. Most of the gynecologists, they thought that if it is more than 1, then it is good. It is not like that. It is gestational age dependent. Even if it is 1.3, it may be abnormal for that period of gestation. So whenever you are having the two PI, that is MCA PI and the umbilical PI, please divide and find out what is the CPR, that is cerebroplacental ratio, and then take this value and the gestational age of the patient and put these two data in the FMF site and find it out if the CPR ratio falls at what centile. Doesn't mean if it is less than 1 or more than 1. Those are obsolete ideas and has been completely drained off. Ebe segura jama use hou nahi. Please, don't find shortcuts in your fetal Doppler. Say value ta apan aniki MCA PI value, umbilical PI value, and the gestational age of the mother. If you put in the FMF software, you will get the value. Eta hochi CPR ratio, and it falls in this percentile. So you will get that value. Ko percentile re achi apan sabu pai paribe. So किछि माने CPR टा more than 1 आमे जब PG पढुथिलु आमे जानिथिलु जे CPR more than 1 माने it is normal, but now it is not. So many patients with CPR more than 1, I found it, they are abnormal, they falls in below percentile, they are coming below 10 percentile, and then we have to write that CPR is low and we need to monitor the baby every second day. So CPR is equal to 1, more than 1, less than 1 is completely obsolete term. Put your values, whatever values it is coming, the computer, the FMF site is doing for you. Just put the gestational age, MCA, PI and the umbilical PI, and they will calculate for you and they will give you at what percentile for that period of gestation they will give you. So your work is only to write down in your report that by using the FMF software for this pregnancy, this CPR falls at 20 centile within normal limit. Then is the fetal aorta. We don't normally do. Sometimes we do aortic isthmus when the baby is coming in jeopardized condition. When the baby is very sick, we do, but beyond that, we don't do aorta and all. So, what is the interpretation of arterial Doppler? So, arterial Doppler, हमें कौन करूँ चु? Usually, we do umbilical artery and middle cerebral artery. Believe me, and the CPR, ratio of middle cerebral versus this umbilical artery. Believe me, if you concentrate on these 3 parameters and the one ductus venosus flow, these are all arterial flow, you will able to save so many mothers that you cannot even imagine. And now next is the venous Doppler. The most important is the ductus venosus. So how to identify ductus venosus? That you have to take an abdomen section and then you have to put the color. So what will happen? There is aliasing of vessels. You will see these are the aliasing of vessels. Aliasing of vessels means when you put color, either you see red or you see blue. So what is aliasing? What happens? The ductus venosus is a very thin vein. So what happens? There is mixing of bloods which shows so much of turbulence that it reflects on the screen as aliasing vessels. Aliasing vessels means neither it shows red nor it shows blue. So it is looking like aliasing vessel because of turbulence of flow in the narrow diameter containing ductus venosus. So that is the cause of aliasing vessel. Whenever you get aliasing vessel, put your PW on, keep the sample gate over the ductus venosus. And remember, for this, you have to change the sample gate. काहीकि ना ductus venosus टा बहुत पतला vessel, बहुत छोटो vessel, सेति पाई यार वॉल्यूम टा सैंपल वॉल्यूम टा आमे 0.5 to 0.7 millimeter पर्यंत रखुछु. Maximum you can go by 1 millimeter. सेठी रखिबे and then you trace, you will get a vessels like this: systolic, diastolic, A wave, S wave, D wave, A wave. एटा गुटे थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर रे गुटे वीडियो अछि. So this is abdomen, this is the left side, this is the right side. Right side is occupied by liver, and these are the two vessels we need to see. This is aorta, descending aorta, and this is inferior vena cava. So what you are seeing, this is the aliasing vessel. Can you see the aliasing vessel, which is neither red nor blue? So what you are getting? You are getting beautiful ductus flow. So this is systolic, This is the diastolic, S wave, D wave and A wave. ठीक ଅଛି? So this is S wave, D wave and A wave. केबे आमे जानिबु जे Doppler is not good when A wave is 0. जदि A wave टा तळे आसिकी baseline रे touch कला S wave, D wave or A wave is touching or it is reversing, then we know that this wave is not good. So जदि abnormal DV थिबो, DV is very close to heart, so it reflects the event of right atrium. So any right atrium anomaly you will get the altered DV besides normal DV. So this is the normal DV, S wave, D wave and A wave. This is A wave reversal. When you can see abnormal reversal, but when you say reversal, the diastolic should touch the baseline. There should be there should be a space between the two waves. Without absence, there cannot be reversal. What happens usually ductus venosus flow पाखेरे IVC थाए वो छोटो छोटो there are numerous vessels. तांको सांगेरे when your sample gate is contaminated, you get a false reversal of wave. ମୁଁ କେତେଟା ରିପୋର୍ଟ ପାଉଛି ଯେ ductus venosus reversal is seen, କିନ୍ତୁ ଯେବେ image ଦେଖୁଛି there is no end. And that diastole has not reached the baseline. How could it be a reversal? It is just contamination from the near vessel. So whenever you are reporting that there is absent A wave or there is reversal of A wave in ductus venosus, be sure that the line has come to the baseline. So zero line ku seta touch koriba dorkar, then only it can be absent or reversal. Jodi seta touch korini, then it is contamination from the near vessel. It is not absent, it is not reversal. So you have to be very clear about that. Abnormal DV, what it suggests? FGR, yes, fetal anemia. And what is more important is the baby is not hypoxic, but it is acidotic. So in first trimester, it could be a normal variant, could be associated with aneuploidy that I have already discussed, and as well as cardiomyopathy and tachyarrhythmias. IVC Doppler we don't do, and there are some venous Doppler. So this is all about how to do the Doppler. या भितरे कहारो किछि doubt अछि? This is first trimester, how we are taking ductus venosus flow. So what we have to do, we have to zoom the image, we have to take only upper part of the chest and abdomen. This is the entire fetus. I have put the zoom box, zooming the image, taking thorax and abdomen only. Then put the color, reduce the size of the color box. Can you see the aliasing of vessel? I have put PW. Now I am not getting the vessel, not getting the perfect wave because the baby is moving. Okay. So now I got so many waves. I have increased the sweep speed and I have kept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 waves in my entire screen. So this is the ductus venosus of the first trimester and it is absolutely normal. This is how we take tricuspid regurgitation. Kemti nouchu. This is a 4-chamber heart. This is left-sided heart, left atrium, left ventricle, right atrium, right ventricle. PW has to put here This sample gate we have to keep at 3 mm. That is the highest for valves. आमे valves पाई basic sample gate रखुचु काईकि ना valves needs to open and close. So we need to keep here as 3 millimeter and then we trace. So एटा आमे E wave A wave पाउचु. What will happen? एटा आमरो reversal टा केबे हेबो? Whenever this diastole is more than 60 centimeter per second, এটা যদি ইয়াঠু বেশি হেবো and it persisted for more than half of the cycle, then only we say it is reversal. Otherwise it is not regurgitation. ଆମେ regurgitation ଟା କେବେ କହୁଛୁ? This is normal E wave, A wave, E wave, A wave. This is first trimester. This is first trimester, 4th chamber. What we have to do? We have to just put on the color. Kainki color put koriya? Just we want to see two parallel inflows. Can you see the two parallel inflows? Yes. And on the side, what we have to do? We have to move cephalic to see that triangular blue, opposite color blue. आमको देखिए पड़ियो that will have a tick sign. So in first trimester we will know that there is no cardiac anomalies. I didn't prepare any lecture, neither I want to discuss anything big big thing for you. ମୁଁ ଆଜିର lecture ଟା ବହୁତ ଛୋଟ because I talked with many of you and they told कि ମାନେ ଆମକୁ ଜଣା ହିଁ ପଡୁନି कि କଣ କରିବା. I hope मतलब ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କୁ କିଛି you know something about knobs and all. आपण मानकर किछि भी असुविधा अछि जदि प्लीज काइंडली माने हमकु कहिबे ताहाले we will able to know. Ashish Mohanty, PRF scale for DV. Hello. Hello.
Yes, Ashish, unmute and discuss with madam.
मैडम टीवी पे एक्चुअली केते रखियो हमरो से स्केल टा
PRF scale टा आपण करो अल्ट्रासाउंड मशीन रे आसीबो हैला आपण जेबे भी DV ब्लड फ्लो टा आपण आइडेंटिफाई करिवे आपण से PW टा पकेइबे सैंपल गेट टा 0.5 to 0.7 mm रखिबे then you will get a trace of S wave, D wave and similar A wave, SDA, SDA एमती आपण पाइबे जदि आपण पाउ नाहंती आपण को लागुची से माने waves पूरा एपटे सेपटे हे जाउची. What you do, you slowly increase the PRF. आपण PRF टाकू बढ़ेई चलिबे. There is no fixed कि या पाई एतिकी हेबो सेटा PRF नुओ. PRF is pulse repetition frequency. आपण जेते PRF increase करिवे आपनकर से जो वेव फॉर्म टा छोटो हे कि स्क्रीन रे ब्यूटीफुली आसीबो. यदि आपनकर से स्क्रीन रे ब्यूटीफुली आसुनी ताहाले आपण PRF टा increase करिवे को जा increase करिवे जो जाय कि सेटा माने वेव फॉर्म टा पूरा भलो रु गोटे लाइन रे आसीबो.
ओके मैम थैंक यू.
PI of Lutein before 16 weeks and giving low dose aspirin at bedtime will prevent a maternal killer as well. I completely agree with you, madam. I think being at the periphery, this is one of the simplest thing we can do for our patient. We can do the bilateral uterine arteries, and if we find there is high PI, which is going to cause preterm preeclampsia, please substitute those patients with aspirin 150 milligram, one tablet at bedtime, and surely it works like anything. We have literature, lot of literature and proven literature that it is lifeguard for the patient. A big salute to Syama madam. She is fighting with the government to put this protocol across the state. And she is doing lot of things for us. So, any doubt anyone is facing during the color Doppler workshop? Do you, because lot of people were calling me and telling that we don't understand Doppler. ମୁଁ କିଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ବୁଝେଇ ପାରିଲି କି will you able to do Doppler from tomorrow? କି ଆପଣ ମାନଙ୍କର ଯାହା ବି doubt ଅଛି please କୁହନ୍ତୁ.
मैडम aspirin टा कौन पाई night रे दिया जो why not at bedtime after lunch?
କାହିଁକି ରାତିରେ ଦିଆଯାଏ because ରାତିରେ ଆମେ when we sleep, because first of all the aspirin जो enzyme टा act करे thromboxane A2 that acts maximally between 3 to 4 am. One group of thought says like that. Second group of thought कହୁचंती कि when we take at the midnight we don't disturb. आमे एमती कौन usually we forget. Sethore कौन we are in a silent sleep. So it acts better when there is no other metabolism. Because आमे खाइले कौन we will walk, we will do our duty. So there are different forces which will act in our body. किंतु रात्रि आमे यदि खाई की सोई जीवा, there is no metabolism. Only slow metabolism will go on. So that aspirin will work very effectively for 6 to 7 hours. So that is the two schools of thoughts. One is telling that thromboxane A2 is working efficiently between 2 to 3 am. The other school of thought is telling because we don't move, we don't mobilize, the aspirin mobilization happens very genuine.
Dr. Preeti, there is a question from Dr. Arvind Nepak. He is asking the difference between the power Doppler and the what is PD? Power Doppler and PW. PD and PW.
Power Doppler मु कहली आमे जो color Doppler टा यूज करूचु सेटा C लेखा थाए ता साइड रे PD लेखा थाए जाकु कि आमे power Doppler कहूचु सेटा कोन बाय यूज हुए whenever you are expecting one artery to be there and you are not getting in color Doppler सेटा माने बहुत छोटो वेसल हेले भी से power Doppler टा धरी दिए किंतु color Doppler टा धरी पारेनी जेंति मु आपन को एग्जांपल देली congenital diaphragmatic hernia आमे कौन एक्सपेक्ट करिवा there is upturned superior mesenteric artery किंतु से superior mesenteric artery टा usually normal flow पकेले भी आसे but to see it more accurately we put power Doppler काहे कि जेते भी छोटो वेसल हेथिबो से को जाउची thorax रे you will able to trace that तो सेते बेले आमे power Doppler यूज करूछु और कलर डॉपलर नॉर्मली हमें सदाले यूज करूछु बट व्हेन सपोज आपण किडनी देखुचंती एंड यू आर फीलिंग कि गोटे किडनी नाही वन किडनी इज नॉट देयर इन द रेनल फोसा सो वी मे एक्सपेक्ट दैट सेटा पेल्विक रीजन रे भी हेई पारे सेटा एसेंड करि नथिबो सो इन दोस केसेस इफ यू पुट पावर डॉपलर आपण जदी पावर डॉपलर पकेबे देन इट विल ट्रेस द वेरी thin very small artery also. So it will be very helpful to you that where the other kidney lies, it will trace you the entire path. So power Doppler अपन तेपे use करिबे whenever you are expecting an artery to be there and you didn't find there. अपन को मिलुनी तो अपन कौन करिबे? You can take a second thought, put the power Doppler. You might get it or you might trace it where it has gone.
Thank you.
Basically, power Doppler is a non-directional flow detect करिबो और low velocity flow गुडा को detect करिबो आमे gynec setup रे आपण सब देखिथिबे how we were insonating those different adnexal masses and we were keeping our PRF at a very low scale. So basically it picks up very low velocity flow in smaller vessels, which is very, very important. And the other type where we are using high velocity flow, then we have to use a sample gate, and you have to you know, adjust the PRF, because in high velocity आपनकर एलियाजिंग हे पारे, एलियाजिंग हेले आपण PRF टा बढ़ेबे, PRF scale टा. So this the difference between the color Doppler basically is a very, very important tool, and the modern machines एथिरे वर्तमान जो कलर फ्लो गुडा का आसुची सेथिरे आपण डायरेक्शन मध्ये देखि पारुछंती. The modern machines which they have got some algorithm जो थेरे के आपण को डायरेक्शन मध्ये जणा पड़छि. I
Hello,
think
madam. Please tell something about the wall filter. In which cases it should be increased, and then which all cases it should be decreased. I mean the wall filter.
ମୁଁ ଶୁଣି ପାରିଲିନି question ଟା, what is
Madam,
Wall
wall
yeah,
filter.
okay, wall
Wall
filter.
filter.
I will tell about wall filter. Wall filter रे कोन हुए जेते बेले आमे let me first answer the Srikant Sahu's question, you will understand it better. So Srikant Sahu babu आपण जो पचारु छंदी जे due to movement of the fetus, how to solve it? There is no solution except that you have to fetus ta white है जीवो, माने बिल्कुल आपण करि परिबे. If there is movement, you better avoid, do something else, and wait till the fetus is calm and quiet. आ प्राय एक्चुअली मां मन को आपण जदी मिठा खोई देबे कि भलो करी तांको जदी से किछि खाई थिबे ताहले fetus ता सोई पड़े. So this is the only trick. So in any movement you cannot do Doppler. And आपण जो wall filter कथा पचारिले आमर कोन होची, आमर एक्चुअली the movement is because of blood flow, and the movement can also be because of the tissue vibration. आपनकर blood flow सहित जो tissue गुडा को जो movement हेबो, that also creates a artifact. That will create an artifact, because the movement will create artifact, it will not give you pure color. Therefore आमे कोन करू, से जो movement गुडा को आमे block करि दो, and that blocking mechanism is through wall filter. आपण wall filter value बढ़ाई देबे ताहले सेही artifact गुडा को कम हे जाय, आ tissue vibration गुडा को आपनकर आ से भितरे दिसे नाही. किंतु वर्तमान कांसेप्ट रे, वर्तमान धरंतु आ जो प्लासेंटा आमेरो प्लासेंटल वेसल्स रे आमरो जो बहुत गुडे लो वेलोसिटी फ्लो आमरो देखिबा को दरकार पड़ी थाए. तेणु करी वर्तमान जो मॉडर्न मशीन अछि से गुडा करे there are mechanism where automatically the software blocks the tissue vibration, and therefore wall filters are avoided. So this is something which is technical, but I hope I clarified your doubt.
usually wall filter टा आमे माने तार तीनिटा setting आसे, low, medium and high. So until and unless it is necessary, माने we keep it in the medium range only. Upon Segura, actually those knobs when the people of your company, when the people will come, they will they will teach you some of your knobology, how to increase the PRF, when to decrease the PRF. Ame bhi jebe field re jiba, now we have come, whatever doubt you are having, please be clarify. Whenever we are coming to your field, we will hold your hand and we will teach you. I promise mu jouthi bhi jibi apun manunku samastunka bhalaru sikhei debi. By holding your hand, it is very easy and you will know in one slot only. I will definitely teach you.
That is one way, and another way is whenever we are having a conference on the machine itself, we will display on the screen. We will show on the machine and also the display on the screen. That is also another way. So try to follow up, because this is not a one-day learning process. We have a lot of time, plenty of time, and there will be many instances where Dr. Preeti Dubey will be there, and all our, for that matter, all our educators will be there, including Shyama madam. So possibly that would be another occasion. But because on site we are coming, definitely, as she said, we will teach you, sure.
Another
Usually
question
हमें
I have.
MCA Doppler का
Do all machines have that knob for power Doppler? The F.
Yes, yes. All the
Machine
all the machines now, modern machines, even the machines HS40 has a good color. Because these days any machine which are being put into market, they have color. They have color. They
so
have power Doppler. They have everything.
in my machine, it shows in the option you have to choose with the cursor, HD flow or power Doppler or color Doppler.
Yeah, those are actually higher versions. Like as you said, those are available only on higher end machine. But
Yes, sir.
color is there in practically every machine nowadays.
Shrikant sir, आपण पचारचंदी how to do the angle correction in our device. आपण जेबे भी Doppler रो waveform PW on करिवे, आपण screen रे देखिवे, सेठी गोटे आसीबो angle correction switch will come. आपण ताकू देखी पारिबेनी if you are not putting the PW on, it will only come when you switch on the PW button. एटा आपन को मने रखिया पड़ियो. जेबे आपण PW button टा on करिवे, सांगे सांगे से screen रे angle correction बोली गोटे knob आसी जीवो.
हाँ देखो जी मैडम जे मो पसलो जी सबले मैंने ताकू स्विच दे ऑन करू की ताकू से करे
नहीं सदाळे ऑन करिया दरकार नाही. आपण जेबे कलर डॉपलर सपोज आपण डिसाइड करले कि मु एबे एमसीए करिबी, आपण जेबे पीडब्ल्यू ऑन करिवे, बिकॉज एमसीए रे ही हमको मैक्सिमम एंगल करेक्शन दरकार. तो आपण सेतेबेले यू विल गेट दैट एंगल करेक्शन ऑन योर स्क्रीन एंड देन by rotating it you can correct the angle. ମୁଁ ତ ସେ ବରମପୁର ଯେବେ ବି ଗଲେ I will definitely call you to MKCG and I will show you all the knobs.
Okay, thank you madam. Thank you.
Basically, when we are doing MCA, see, almost when we take a BPD plane, so the fetal head is almost transverse, and therefore MCA is always, you will get very easily the vessel. You can by movement of your probe, you can see that the MCA will be parallel to the insonation angle. They will be parallel, the sound waves and the MCA. And even if maybe if you are not able to do it, you can adjust it at least to the 15 degree, which is acceptable.
ମୁଁ मतलब रिक्वेस्ट करूची आपण माने करंतु, आपण मानकु जहां भी असुविधा अछि आपण वीडियो कॉल करंतु टू whomever educator you are comfortable with. आपण जहां संगे रे बहुत क्लोज अछंती तांको इमीडिएटली कॉल करी कहंतु जे म एटा करूची, मोर असुविधा होउची, एटा असुविधा होउची. काहे कि आपण जदी इमीडिएटली कहिबे आ इमीडिएटली हमकु पाइबे जे एटा आपण करूचंती, then it will be there in your mind for long. माने आपण मानकु सब दिन पई से जिंसटा मने रहि जीवो. सेति पई आपण आमे we are nearly 20-30 people are there. आपण को एरिया रे जे भी अछंती, जेंती भी अछंती, आपण तांकु डाउट जदी होउची, immediately you do a video call. Don't ask whether you are free or not. If we are not free, we will tell you that nahi ame outstation achu ki ame ye achu, but most of the time we are free only. 5 minute कहबा पई कहारो भी किछि असुविधा हबनी, बुझि परले तो सेति पई आपण सांगे सांगे फोन करिले आमे वीडियो कॉल रे देखि परिबा जे आपण को बटन ता यूज करि पारु नांती, कोन करिवे आमे आपण को इमीडिएटली कहि देई परिबा. Unless you do it yourself, आपण केबे भी knobs जानि परिबे नाही. ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିକେଟେଡ କରିକି ଏମିତି FGR ଇଏ ଡାୟଗ୍ନୋସ୍ କରିଦେବା ସେମିତି କରିଦେବା ମୁଁ କିଛି ବି କହିନି. I have told you just 4 things: maternal uterines, how to take, umbilical, MC and DV. These are the 4 vessels that is life saving for the mother. So please practice. If you face any type of difficulty at any moment of time, please let us know so that we will help you out. Say moment re आपन जदि सेटा करि परिबे आपन जदि गोटे पेशेंट रो असुविधा हे पारे दीटा पेशेंट रो असुविधा हे पारे by the time you reach 10th patient you will not face difficulty and you will have lot of confidence that we want from you. आपण माने करंतु आपण मानकु किछि भी असुविधा होछि आपण माने जणांतु
Srikant Babu, apana, you have one of the best person to help you, Suren Prasad Das. I think yeah, he's very good. So I would like to tell one thing. In this screen, apana a screen re dekhantu on the left side of screen gote lekha heichi Volution E6 lekha heichi. Dekhi paruchanti? Volution E6 lekha heichi. Dekhantu left side of the screen.
Yes, sir.
And then there is a velocity madhya dekhauchi apankar jo vessel re apankar velocity madhya dekhauchi, right? And blue is down and red is up. Ta mane kono yar artha hela सबु बेले आपण मार्क करिवे एटा एई पोजीशन रे थिबो हमरो गुटे प्रिंसिपल हला आपण मने रखिबे BART माने ब्लू इज अवे माने एटा ट्रांसड्यूसर रु अवे अछि आमे ट्रांसड्यूसर टा ऊपर अछि ब्लू इज अवे एंड रेड इज टुवर्ड्स RRT रेड इज टुवर्ड द ट्रांसड्यूसर एंड ब्लू इज अवे फ्रॉम द ट्रांसड्यूसर सो आपनकर एटा होची डायरेक्शन टा देखेबो एटा दिस इज द डायरेक्शन ऑफ द ब्लड फ्लो आपण जानि परिबे जे केमती होची थरे थरे आमे वेव फॉर्म टा को भलो करी देखिबा को या को इन्वर्ट कर दो किंतु दैट इज जस्ट टू मेक द वेव फॉर्म above the line but under normal situation red has to be up and blue has to be downward a position रे रखिबे ताहले हमर इंटरप्रिटेशन हेबो जे blue is flow is away from the probe and any signal which is coming toward the transducer will be red. This is important. I think sometime maybe when we are on site we will show you why this is important, you know.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Doppler is not very difficult. Only thing is you have to insonation आपण भलो करी ताकू करिवे एंगल टा ठीक रखिबे आउ आपनकर जो कर्सर जोटा प्रीति मैडम कहिले को वेसल रे धरंतु आपण जदी डक्टस विनोसस फर्स्ट ट्रिमेस्टर रे करूछंती ताहले आपनकर गेट सैंपलिंग गेट शुड बी 0.7 0.5 to 0.7 if you are actually doing a valve study tricuspid valve study आपण जदी ट्राइकस्पिड वाल्व ताले आपण बेसी रखिबे काहे कि वाल्व रे मूवमेंट ता बेसी होय अप एंड डाउन सो योर कर्सर शुड कवर अप द अप एंड डाउन मूवमेंट ऑफ द वाल्व दैट्स व्हाई वी कीप इट हाई सो आई थिंक इट्स ओनली अ प्रैक्टिस वर्तमान आपण देखु थांतु सबुठु सहज होची आपण आरंभ करिवे सबुठु सहज होची आपनकर अम्बिलिकल आर्टरी डॉपलर करिवाटा इट इज द इजीएस्ट वे एनी फ्री लूप यू नो आपण थरे जदी कलर बॉक्स ता पकेले कोन होची आपण 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 मूवमेंट ऑफ द आरबीसी विल बी शोन एज कलर फ्लो आपण कर जे कोनसी वेसल रे आपण कोटे एम्प्टी स्पेस जदी जो जागा रे वेसल नथिबो आपण बॉक्स पकेले सेठी किछि कलर सिग्नल आसीबो नाही बिकॉज़ देयर आर नो वेसल्स and there is no movement of the RBC. So when you are putting a box over a vessel, you will always know if there are color signals are reflected, you know that yes, there is a there are some vessels, and direction also you can know. Yeah, direction also you will know from the color because धरंतु आपनकर जो ब्लड फ्लो जदी आपनकर टुवर्ड द ट्रांसड्यूसर अछि ताहले रेड देखाइबो जदि it is moving away from the transducer तलकू जदि जाउची ताले सेटा ब्लू हेबो. So this is very simple and easiest is the umbilical. Start with umbilical. आपण जेतेले धरंतु fetus रे गोटे ब्लैडर आमे जेतेले देखुछु कि तार ब्लैडर टा कंफर्म करूछु कि तारो सिंगल आर्टरी अछि कि दुई both side bladder should show both sides the umbilical artery. So what we are doing, we are putting color and knowing that yes, this is bladder because on both sides the two umbilical arteries are visible. How umbilical artery जदि आपण free loop जदि देखुछंती try to see somewhere where there liker रे आपण देखिबे जोठी liker pocket थिबो सेठी से floating अवस्था रे थिबे cord गुडाको, you know. So easily you can detect that there are some umbilical cord loops are there. So easiest is umbilical. MCA you will need some practice. Ductus you have to be, it is easiest in first trimester. If you do it in a longitudinal section of the fetus and put color, definitely you will see that the umbilical vein जोठू माने भीतर को आसुची toward the heart, you will see lot of turbulence and aliasing of the color. से color गुडा को suddenly आपण देखिथिबे सेटा गुटे greenish हे जिवो कि deep yellowish हे जिवो, माने that identify that yes, this is the ductus venosus. And MCA needs a little bit of practice. Uterine arteries are also relatively easy. Uterine artery भी एते difficult हुए नहीं, आपनकर टिके just it needs a little bit of practice, that's all. नरोत्तम बाबू लिखिसंती कोन लिखिसंती, when the angle correction is needed, does the waveform appearance change? Yeah, surely it will change because the lesser the angle, you know, the higher is the frequency shift. Therefore, the waveform will be little taller if your angle is good, you know, less than, ideally ame kohuchu je less than 30, but preferably if you can manage to keep it as low as possible, it is the best actually.
हेलो
हाँ तपन बाबू कहतु
सर, नमस्कार सर. एक्चुअली सर यूटेरिन आर्टरी कला बेल को केते पेशेंट करो आमे जेमिति जो क्रॉसओवर जो आर्टरीटा आसुची हमर जो काइलियाक वेसल ऊपर सब केतेटा पेशेंट कर मिलेनी, मैक्सिमम तो क्रॉसओवर मिल जाए, केतेटा पेशेंट कर माने जेते भी माने करेक्शन कले माने माने ये कले भी से मानकर क्रॉसओवरटा मिलेनी. मे भी आगुआ टिके ब्रांचिंग हे जाय था कि कोन हे थे से क्षेत्र रे में केमती कोप करि परिबो.
सुनंतु आपण जे कोनसी वेसल को जेतेले इंट्रोगेट करूछंती, जदि आपनकर पीआरएफ स्केल टा बहुत लो अछि, राइट, सो हाई वेलोसिटी फ्लो जोटा थिबो आपण यू आर नॉट कवरिंग दैट.
सर
I think Preeti you just listen to this and also participate in this discussion. जदि आपनकर धरंतु जो वेसल रे आपनकर वेलोसिटी तार हाई अछि आ आपण पीआरएफ जदि कम रखिले ताले से डिटेक्ट करिवोनी because your machine setting is not good. So increase the PRF and see what happens, you know, or increase the color knob. आपण color knob टू टिके बढ़ाई पारिबे, किंतु बेस्ट थिंग इज आपण सबले मने रखिबे जे प्रत्येक वेसल रे दी वेलोसिटी स्केल तार गुटे वेलोसिटी थिबो. धरंतु कहा कोनसी वेलोस कोनसी गुटे वेसल रो 60 सेंटीमीटर रु भी अधिक होय, राइट. धरंतु यूट्राइन आर्टरी रो 60 सेंटीमीटर रु हेबा कथा मिनिमम. जदि सेटा 60 सेंटीमीटर तार जदि नाही ताहले इट इज नॉट ए यूट्राइन आर्टरी. दिस इज द आइडेंटिटी. सो जदि सेथि आपनकर पीआरएफ टा आपण कम रखिबे ताहले ए एते हाई वेलोसिटी फ्लो सेटा धरिबो नाही सेटा सर. तो पीआरएफ टा को एडजस्ट करिवे आ देखिए. Preeti, anything you want to add on this actually? Preeti, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am there.
So comment on that actually. If the vessel has a high flow, high velocity, and the PRF scale is they have kept it low in machine setting, it will not detect any flow actually.
Actually आपण जदि PRF टा लो रखिबे तो ना से जो वेव फॉर्म टा आसीबो सेटा आपन को पूरा देखा ही जीवनी गोटे फील्ड रे यू आर बाउंड टू इन
मैडम नमस्कार मैडम मोर क्वेश्चन थिला कि सबु समय रे हमर जो यूटेरिन आर्टरी रो डॉपलर नेला बेलको हमर एक्सटर्नल एलिया ऊपर जेमिति गोटे क्रॉसओवर करिकरी देखा जाउची यूटेरिन आर्टरी माने मेजरेट टाइम रे से क्रॉसओवर टाइप रो भेसल हमको मिल जाए हमें ताकू इजीली ताकू तार डॉपलर हमें करि पारू किंतु केतेटा पेशेंट करो हमें जते के भी चेष्टा कले भी सेही क्रॉसओवर भेसल टाको हमें पाउना
नहीं सर सेटा आपण खाली थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर रे पाइबे आपण सेटा फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर सेकंड ट्राइमेस्टर
नहीं मैडम अच्छा से क्रॉसओवर
अपन को ट्राइमेस्टर रे कहउचंती काहे कि ना अपन जोटा ओवरलाइन द एक्सटर्नल इलियक वेसल दैट यू विल क्लियरली सी ओनली इन थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर अपन फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर रे सेकंड ट्राइमेस्टर रे केबे भी सेंती पाइबेनी अपन को कोन करिया को पड़िबो अपन को यू हैव माने सर्विक्स देखिबे इंटरनल ऑस ऑफ सर्विक्स रु अपन लेफ्ट वर्ड जिबे अपन लेफ्ट वर्ड गले यू विल गेट वन एलिएजिंग वेसल सेटा आपण माने दैट इज माने टिपिकल ऑफ दैट यूट्राइन आर्टरी सेटा आपण देखिले ही आपण ता ऊपरे कर्सरटा रखी की आपण वेव ट्रेस करिवे यू विल नॉट गेट दोस क्रॉसिंग ओवर वेसल्स इन फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर रेयरली यू विल गेट in second trimester definitely you will get in third trimester
okay madam
अपन केबे भी फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर रे पाइबे नहीं अपन फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर रे अपन को इंटरनल ऑस ऑफ द सर्विक्स माने सर्विक्स देखिबे ब्लैडर टा टिके फिल अप हेतिबो यू कैन इजीली सी द एक्सटर्नल ऑस एंड इंटरनल ऑस ऑफ द सर्विक्स इंटरनल ऑस पाखरु अपन प्रोब टा को 90 डिग्री करी की यू स्लोली गो टुवर्ड्स लेफ्ट you will find one aliasing vessel and that is uterine artery. Make it double sure. अपन देखिबे जे vessels रो peak systolic velocity टा it will be always more than 60 centimeter per second. सेटा सदा बेले सेटा 60 ऊपर ही थिबो जदि 60 ऊपर नाही then it is not uterine vessel.
Maybe it is an arcuate artery or some other uterine vessel, you know. So
okay madam thank you madam
yeah
thank you
अपन को सेटा थर्ड ट्राइमेस्टर रे इजीली अपन को एक्सटर्नल एलिया ऊपर सेटा मिली जिवो बट आमे 2 मिलीमीटर छाड़ी की ही वी पुट द सैंपल गेट डोंट टेक ओवर द इलियक वेसल जस्ट गिव 2-3 मिलीमीटर गैप एंड बिलो इट यू टेक द यूट्राइन आर्टरी सेटा अपन को फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर सेकंड अर्ली सेकंड ट्राइमेस्टर माने 20 वीक्स पर्यंत अपन को सेमती देखा जीवनी कि अपन सेमती वैल्यू पाई परिबे नाही for that you have to go based on the internal os of the cervix go transfer laterally go towards lateral side you will able to get
madam please tell the pulsatility index of uterine artery in first and second trimester
किछि भी फिक्स नो सर अपन एफएमएफ काहे कि सब पल्साटिलिटी इंडेक्स ता गेस्टेशनल एज डिपेंडेंट 11 सप्ताह रे एतिकी थिबो 12 सप्ताह रे एतिकी थिबो 12 सप्ताह एक दिन रे एतिकी थिबो 12 सप्ताह 4 दिन रे एतिकी थिबो तो सेटा मने करिबा बहुत डिफिकल्ट किंतु ऑन एन एवरेज 11 to 13 weeks 6 days रे जदी पीआई टा 2.2 भितरे रहउची ताहाले सेटा नॉर्मल अछि एनीथिंग मोर देन 2.2 इज डेफिनेटली एब्नॉर्मल
yes
इन एटा फर्स्ट ट्राइमेस्टर रे 11 रु 13 सप्ताह 6 दिन भितरे जदी सेटा सेकंड ट्राइमेस्टर अछि सेटा 1.2 to 1.4 अराउंड नॉर्मल आसुची एनीथिंग बियॉन्ड दैट इज कमिंग एब्नॉर्मल अपन सदा बेले एफएमएफ साइट को जाई की डॉपलर रो वैल्यू पुट करिले इमीडिएटली इट विल कम इन परसेंटाइल केते परसेंटाइल रे अछि माने गेस्टेशनल एज पकेबे ଆଉ ଆପଣ ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଡପଲର ର ଭ୍ୟାଲ୍ୟୁ PI ଭ୍ୟାଲ୍ୟୁ ଟା ପକେଇବେ once you start doing it ପ୍ରଥମେ ଦିଥର କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଅସୁବିଧା ହେଇପାରେ but when you start doing repeatedly you will find it so easy ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମୋବାଇଲ ରେ ବି ଡାଉନଲୋଡ କରି ରଖି ଦେଇ ପାରିବେ ଗୋଟିଏ ସେକେଣ୍ଡ ବି ଲାଗିବନି ଆପଣ ଭ୍ୟାଲ୍ୟୁ ପୁଟ୍ କରିବେ ସେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ପରସେଣ୍ଟାଇଲ ଲେଖିକି ଦେଖେଇ ଦେବେ
Thank you, ma'am.
Some machines also, once I've found out the PI, the average of the two uterine artery PIs will be displayed in the report format. When you're going down and it's showing the growth profile, the different ratios, abdominal AC and HC by FL by AC, all these ratios. Then below that, the vessel also, there's a graph and the normal range also is displayed, isn't it? In some machines, I don't know if it is there in F8.
And say FMF calculator ଟା କୋଉଠି ପାଇବ ମାନେ କୋଉ ସାଇଟ୍ ରୁ?
FMF www.fmf.org ପକେଇବେ
Thank you.
ସେଇଠି ଲେଖିବେ ପ୍ରେଗନେନ୍ସି ଡପଲର କ୍ୟାଲକୁଲେଟର ପକେଇଲେ ଆସିବ
FMF website is free, you know, it is a free website. And what you do is आपण email सहित ताकू register करिवे आ सितरे बहुत गुडे जिंस अछि जोटा कि आपण lectures गुडा अछि सुनी पारिबे and you can also get certification on certain thing like आपण कर NT रहेला या आपण अन्यान्य अछि जोटा कि certification like cervical length रो अछि. So what we have to do is we have to send them some images and there is a person in that office who actually evaluates your performance and then if your images are taken on a correct plane then they actually certify you and it is a free site and FMF also has, I tell you, Kipros during the COVID time conducted lot of webinars and all webinar recordings are available. All the webinar recordings are available and they are free and they are very good. Kipros is the master, so all the events which he holds is very, very of a good quality. So everybody, I think all of you can, and also there are calculators, there are risk calculators also are there. So please try to enroll yourself as a member and also you can participate in the whole educational program actually. Basically, Fetal Medicine Foundation is a charitable organization. Lot of British people, they pay money to Kipros and also whatever scans are done by Kipros in the clinic, major part goes toward that foundation. There are a lot of other activities by which Kipros raises funds in that foundation actually. He's very, very concerned. He's very, very concerned about keeping the cost as low as possible. He is a great critic of people who charge a lot of money. So yeah, he is a reasonably excellent person.
I wish we could have got Kipros to this program by your endeavor, because this is completely free from everybody. So Kipros would have been very happy. World class, of course, you have brought world class people. And if you could have brought Kipros to our specialists, and he would have been delighted, and so also our specialists. So anyway, from the core of my heart, I thank all the trainers, all the participants, and of the trainers, hats off to Hasmukh sir and Preeti Dubey for their painstaking effort to raise your standards, answering your questions so patiently. And again, deep gratitude to Ashok sir and Mala Sibbal and Chinmay Rath, especially Chinmay Rath and Preeti who had and Hasmukh sir who had given the simulator hands-on with you people, where you also learned quite a lot. So the program has come to an end. We are making a new takeoff, but before that new takeoff, we will assess what you have learned, and the UNICEF will conduct that online test for you. So this assessment is extremely important for the trainers, and especially the coordinator, because this program was accepted with a pinch of salt by the directorate. They had doubts that if somebody can learn online, how can ultrasound be learned online? And so this you will prove to them that you have learned online, and hopefully we are coming on site as soon as possible. But before the trainers go on site, again, they will be exposed to trainers training by the stalwarts like Hasmukh sir, Preeti, and I don't think Chinmay ma'am can come down, but we have to depend on Hasmukh sir and Preeti, and the basic things that we require for this basic OBGYN ultrasound. I think they can do justice. And then finally, I always have a bad habit of announcing things beforehand, but we have given a proposal to MDNHM for procuring a simulator. And so batch by batch, you can come and practice on the simulator, which will be kept at the Center of Excellence, Maternal Health Suman. And she has agreed, means we have to be after her for this tender, placing the tender and procurement process. So please keep praying that this prayer, many things is wrought by prayer, many things are wrought by prayer than man dreams of. So if you make a collective prayer that the simulator should be brought for our state and kept at the Center of Excellence, so that all of you can go batch by batch, and there won't be any patient, no PCP and DT issues. So you can learn. We can ask the yes. Jayashree madam has come.
Jayashree achi ha, Jayashree actor jab damu.
Jayashree madam samaste dekhantu madam the
हेलो
yes this hello Jayashree madam
बाले बाले नहीं बने
से कहूची कि से her hairs are all loose and
no, she looks nice with the hair so again goodbye everybody.
Yeah, I think all our trainers for that matter, jo mane bhi amara different districts ko jibe. Rama was here. Rama, are you there? Rama?